I want to paint a drastic picture for you, if you'll allow me. Imagine if you walked into your house and you saw your child, 2 years old, 4 years old, 12 years old, smoking a cigarette. And you said, actually, I have to go to work. I don't have the time to deal with this. Somebody else will look at it, and you left the room. That would make you a pretty shitty parent. Now imagine you came back a few hours later and your child is still smoking. And you said, I'm sure someone will figure out how to deal with this. It can't be me. I don't really know what to do. Because that's the kind of parents we are all being right now. Each of our children is smoking. Whether we live in Pune, in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Noida, in Gurgaon, you're walking into your house every day and you're looking at your child smoking a cigarette and saying, somebody's going to have to figure out how to do this. I don't know what to do. Every one of our children who lives in these big cities is at risk of cancer. I recently interviewed an internal medicine specialist who told me that if you live in a city where the AQI is above the safe zone, and remember the safe zone is 50, you should be screening for cancer as if you were a smoker. Which means that your toddler and your infant and your 12-year-old and your 16-year-old are all at risk of lung cancer as if you were allowing them to smoke multiple packs of cigarettes every day. If you don't have children, imagine if you have a pet, a little dog or a cat, and you walked into the room and you saw someone shove a cigarette down their mouth and did nothing about it. Because that's the kind of parents we are today. Now, obviously, the next question you're going to ask me is, what can we do as citizens? And I'm going to spend the next few minutes actually explaining what we can do as citizens, because I want to remind you that in a democracy, which is what we are in this country, the country belongs to you. Not to the government, not to the politicians, not to the bureaucrats, not to the rich businessmen who continue to construct and build in this particular environment. It belongs to you. And I just want to push one point further. Will air pollution cause cancer in all of us? Well, yes. Take, for example, Delhi, where you have the PM 2.5, which is fine particulate matter that you're inhaling into your lungs every day. This is classified by the World Health Organization and the International Agency for Research on Cancer as a group 1 carcinogen. So it will definitely cause you cancer. It is in the same category as tobacco smoke and asbestos. There is sufficient evidence that it will cause cancer in humans. Now, what does the government say about this? The Union government told Parliament that there is no conclusive national data providing a direct causal link, I beg your pardon, between AQI and lung disease and cancer. But it has said that there is a triggering factor. So if you already have a problem, it will make the problem worse. But so what effectively the government is saying is that air pollution is harmful to health, but it's not going to cause you cancer. But various scientists have told us repeatedly that exposure to air pollution, especially if you are young and if you're a child and your lungs are still developing, puts you at definite risk for cancer. Now let's talk about what you can do about it. Because we have already established that you have to do something. Each and every one of us has to do something. According to the Indian Constitution, which is a living document, which means that it keeps evolving over time. So remember, when the Indian Constitution was written, after our independence, there was no air pollution problem. But the Constitution, while it does not say that you have a right to clean air, it repeatedly says you have a right to life, irrespective of who you are. Article 21 says you have a right to life. It says no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. And the Supreme Court has made it clear that the right to life doesn't mean mere survival. It means dignity, health, and a safe environment. Now, do you have a safe environment right now? Key Supreme Court judgments. In 1988, the Dehradun quarrying case was the first time that the Supreme Court explicitly recognized environment protection as part of your right to life. Now, in 1987, the court held that the right to life is also the right to live in a pollution-free environment as part of Article 21. So you have a fundamental right that nobody can take away from you to live in a safe and a pollution-free environment. So in simple terms, breathing clean air is a fundamental right in our country. Now, also remember, every time we talk about fundamental rights, our politicians will bring up fundamental duties, and the duties also say that it is a duty of every Indian citizen, as per Article 51AG, to protect and improve the natural environment, including air, water, forests, and wildlife. Article 47 says it is the state's duty to improve public health. Article 48A says the state should protect and improve the environment. So fundamentally, It is a fundamental right to give you a safe and a clean environment to live in. It is the state or the government's job to protect the environment and to improve health. In September, the Supreme Court made a critical observation this year where it said, and I'm quoting, clean air cannot be a privilege of the elite living in Delhi NCR who can buy the air purifiers with GST. This Chief Justice of the Supreme Court actually said if citizens in Delhi deserve clean air, then why not the people of the rest of the country? Air pollution is now a pan India problem. This matters because, according to Lancet Countdown of 2025, 26% of global air pollution deaths are linked to India. 1.72 million Indians die every year because of air pollution. And these are all numbers, but fundamentally, we'll bottle it down to one thing, and that is we are all at risk of getting cancer. So you could be at this point eating healthy organic food, you could be working out, you could be looking after yourself, working on your longevity, you could be looking after your children, but you are all at risk of getting cancer because the air that you're breathing is poison. There is no other way to say it. Remember, India also has laws and programs. It has an Air Pollution Prevention Act. It has a National Clean Air Program. We have vehicle emission norms. We have the Commission of Air Quality Management, a graded action response plan. On paper, these are all great. In implementation, nobody cares. Now let's come to what can citizens do, because every time I bring up air pollution, people write to me saying, yeah, but what can we do? One, protest and create public pressure. In November, citizens attempted to protest in Delhi. More than 80 people were detained within the hour. We must remember that ours is a country that was born out of peaceful protest. Peaceful protest is not disruption. It is democratic participation, and it is a fundamental right of every citizen to actually express your dissatisfaction through protest. That is how this country was given birth to. Two, approach the courts in PILs. This is a second right that you have. A PIL was filed in the Supreme Court this year, which asked for clean air to be explicitly declared as a fundamental right and time-bound action to be demanded from government. The courts, remember, remain our strongest tool available as citizens. Three, we can demand affordable protection. A case in Delhi High Court challenged the 18% GST on air purifiers, and the court told the government either you provide clean air or you remove the GST on air purifiers or reduce it. This is judicial recognition of the fact that we're currently in a health emergency. Four, make pollution an election issue. Vote with your feet. To be honest, elections in India are rarely fought on air quality, on public health, environmental survival. The Delhi election is about a year old, and there were promises made about air pollution that we now understand are not being kept. Mumbai has its municipal elections, or the BMC elections, in 15 days, and hopefully the citizens of Mumbai will demand better. But we don't hear any of the parties who are contesting talk about air pollution and what they will change. And five, create awareness. Now, many people still don't know that it is a constitutional right, that governments can be held accountable, and pollution is killing all of us. You can tweet about it, you can write about it, you can use social media, you can talk about it, you can raise awareness among the groups that you are part of and become more vocal. Remember, at the end of the day, the governments do react. All governments, state, city, center, react when they feel that the citizens are going to vote in the other direction and public opinion is not going their way. There are various things that we can do as citizens. The least of all, and we should not be at this point turning around and saying, this is not my problem, someone else is going to look at it. Because look at the way we live in this country. It's completely untenable. Every free citizen of any country should have clean air, clean water, healthcare, education, and safety. Every citizen. In our country, the richest man doesn't have all of these five things, and the poor have nothing at all. It is an abysmal way to live, given how hard we work and how much money we pay as taxes. That we cannot guarantee our children air. We cannot guarantee them the right to life. The people who can afford it are constantly looking at ways to leave the country. We're gone past the argument of we should be ashamed, this should actually be embarrassing. I think we're past embarrassment at this point. We should be afraid. We should be afraid that if you are a 5-member household, all 5 of you will have cancer at some point. That is the fear that I'm bringing to you. That is the risk that we're currently running. And we're not responding to that risk. There are various things that we can do. We can write letters, we can write emails, we can post on social media, we can gather large groups of people, we can do signature campaigns. You can actually visit your local authorities and ask them, what are you doing about this? But waiting for someone else to stop your child from smoking is just bad parenting. And that is what we are all being at this point. Really bad parents. Leave me a comment in the comment section if you have an idea of what citizens can do right now to improve the situation that we are in.